I am Prometheus, and you are just a god.
What's going on, you sexy Cypher mains? Competitive Valorant is back. And not only that, I'm back from vacation, but now I have a cold. So bear with me. Might sound a little stuffy. Hear a few sniffles here and there. But I really want to go over Guild Esports versus FNATIC, their series that they had. It was a really close one. I think Guild takes it 2-1. And their last snap on Haven really comes down to the wire. And Safe, their Cypher main, and Leo, their Breach main, really put a lot of work on their backs. Put the team on their back and really pulled out for them in the series. And to start off this VOD review, I want to talk about Guild's pistol round. So each team, they all have their own strats for pistol round, and Guild's is that they play C for retake with Cypher's utility. They have Sova watching the cross and A with his recon dart. I'll call for early rotates, but we have a ball of death here in mid, led by Yassine. I think I'm saying that right. If I'm not, I'm sorry. And Safe leading the charge here, holding window and holding the push out of grass here. And I want to point out something that you won't see this from most Cypher mains. Their plan is to get aggressive out mid, right? And most Cypher mains, as you know, don't like to do that. Like, look how far Safe is pushing up here. Maybe even overextending a little bit because they got their couple kills. They probably should fall back at that time, but Safe's kind of a psycho. And he pushes up, gets a couple kills there, gets 3, I think. And his team almost baits him. They sort of leave him out there to die because he's kind of overextending. But as a Cypher main, don't be afraid to get aggressive because your body, your presence, your gun is more important than this stupid tripwire on C for retake. So you Cypher mains out there, don't be afraid to get aggressive. It's good for you. Okay, so like the rest of my VOD reviews, I'm not going to go over every round, but I think Safe plays this really well again. This is their bonus round. Or not bonus, I guess, I don't know what you want to call it. But FNATIC's on pistols, and they know that. So he throws a tripwire in garage. He throws a very early tripwire in mid and B in case they decide to rush B. You can call for early rotates. There's his camera there as well. He senses that there's a fat rush coming in, right? So he throws his cage, waits for them to hit it, sprays, gets a kill here, and he falls back, which is perfect. You don't want to give up any guns on your buy rounds, especially against Nico, and he plays this perfectly. Waits for the push out to see if they get aggressive, and yeah, he plays this pretty well. So take notes, folks. So I'm bringing us over to our first full buy round for FNATIC, and I want to show you something pretty cool that that Guild setups here. So Safe throws a tripwire in C, tripwire in garage. Don't have to worry about those sites. If they end up going there, we can play this to retake together, right? Something that's really cool is that, you know that little box down at the bottom of Haven? He throws his camera on the other side, and he sets almost like up a trap here with his teammates. So he camps in his camera here, waits for to see if FNATIC's going to push up here. If they don't, it sort of gives them the go-ahead to sort of push up and take mid control here. But if they do end up going to B, he can sit in that camera, and he can call for his breach to flash, and they all just collapse on there all together at once. You know, a breach flash, home flash, and it's a massacre here. So he does this in a couple of rounds, and I'm going to show you guys what that looks like later. Alright, so I'm taking this over to round 4, and I want to break down a little setup that Safe likes to throw almost, like most rounds, you'll see as you go on in this VOD review. But he has a tripwire and long, and he'll throw a camera up on this top part of the sewers, like, area here. And this can call for anybody that has sewer control. He can call for early rotates and whatnot. And I'm going to show you how valuable this camera is in just a second. So you see FNATIC pushing down in the sewer. They have 3 people pushing down there. Sova's going to drone here. So with this camera, he sees the Sova drone, sees the Cypher, knows that there's at least 2 people towards A. His teammates pushed up on C know that there's nobody here, so that everybody starts rotating over to the A side. Safe hears a jet dash, throws his cage to prevent anybody from trading off of him. He uses the cage to isolate the rest of the players on site, try to take 1v1s as many as he can, and he held on this side. He got his 3. So he locked on that site really well. And honestly, this is a really good example on how you use Cypher's utility to its fullest. You know, cages are cheap; they're $100, but right there, it shut down that entire push, that 1 cage he threw. So take note. And now, you know what's funny about this setup is that he does it the same exact round again. He sees both the duelists, he sees the Sova, he knows that they're coming. He's on a Nico, so he's playing in a more aggressive position. So he's not afraid to frag out. And if you watch this VOD for yourself, you know that Safe is just an aggressive Cypher main, and it's really something you don't see a whole lot of, and I think it pays off for him. You know, he has great mechanics and whatnot, and I think many Cypher mains are just too afraid to push. Like, look at this. He's not afraid of anybody. I mean, dies there, but don't be afraid to get aggressive, folks. It works out for you. Okay, so I'm taking this over to round 6 now. They're trying to set up, Guild Esports is trying to set up this little camera trap play that they have for B site for mid. Their breach just rotated off, and I think that's so unfortunate because had he not have, they would run a massacre here in mid. So he has the camera sitting here, right? And usually his breach is with him to call for flashes, for stuns and whatnot, but safe, here's the Phoenix will go off, right? Sees a lot of them coming, right? Throws his cage. I think he gets tagged by the Sova drone, yeah, so it's really unfortunate. Otherwise, I think he would have been good for at least 1 or 2. But, you know, that's a little trap play that you and your friends could pull off in ranked, too. I'm sure it could work. So, yeah, give that setup a try. It's really fun. Okay, so I know this VOD review is mostly for Guild Esports and how well that Safe is playing as Cypher here, but I really want to point out this huge lurk that Magnum has on round 9 here. And before we do that, I want to point out that this camera is still up here. It's really strong. It's almost up every round. Just thought it was funny. So FNATIC's pushing a lot of pressure on C, forces out the breach ult in just a second. You'll see that come out. Magnum tries to protect his teammates, peeks garage one last time before he circles around to B. Knows that they created just a buttload of pressure on C, that there's no way that somebody could be on B. And because Magnum gets up into this position, he's telling his teammates right now, get out of there, get out of there. I'm literally in their guts right now. Like, all the way back here. Look at how far he gets up here. This is such a power position. They know that they're not going to go to C anymore. They're running over to A, so it forces them to rotate. And they don't expect somebody to be over here. Magnum almost whiffs. But, yeah, Magnum's a really good lurk. And if you can get your timings down, you can pretty much win rounds for your teammates, which Magnum basically does here. So it's pretty cool. So round 10 ends up being an eco round for Guild here, but I really want to explain this really strong setup that they have. So in case they go C, in case FNATIC goes C, they have 3 stacked here already and breach for a quick rotate. In case they go B now, they have Cypher's camera really high up on that wall, and this is really important, right? Because the Cypher camera is going to tell you how many are on site, what they're doing over here, and can also call Sova over for an early rotate. And Sova early in the round is playing on A, recon arrowing A lobby to see if anybody crosses over and whatnot, and calls for rotates as well. So Cypher sees the Sova drone going in, which usually means there's 1 or 2 people with him. Phoenix flashes. Okay. The camera's still up, right? So Safe sees that Jet's planning in this corner. He can call for breach of C-Blast here. And he could also call for his Sova's shock arrows to shock her there, right? So combine those two together. She can't get that bomb down. And that just destroys FNATIC's plan because now bomb is in the middle of sight and Guild is all over it. They just collapse on the bomb. And long story short, they end up winning that round. A really, really good eco round from them. And just because their strats and their setup here is just really strong. And they really took advantage of this like Cypher camera up here. Without this camera, they don't win this save round. So pretty cool stuff. Okay, so as I'm going through the offensive side for Guild Esports, I'm having a hard time finding anything that really stands out to me for Safe. He's just playing a really good support role. Some rounds he's using his camera to help his team take space, like a Sova drone almost. Just a couple things that I noticed that's really interesting about the way he plays, or I guess where he places his utility at least, as instead of putting the tripwire here in A, sometimes he'll throw like 1 here and 1 here because a Cypher usually you have an extra tripwire. So he either throws this one to block the flank from window, or block the one from here to to the rest of the map. Or if he does have a tripwire here, he'll throw his other one on the entrance of garage, so they know they can't push out a garage that easily. And if they do, they know that somebody's pushing out a garage. So overall, though, Safe played a really, really good defensive half. Haven is a really T-sided map, and I honestly believe that with the way Safe played with his utility, his camera, and everything, that he really basically won them this game. Leo did a really good job too, but I think that Cypher's information that he gathered and all of his utility that he used really helped Guild knock FNATIC out and win in the game. So hope you guys learned a thing or two, because I know I did. Safe, if you're watching this, you're a sexy bitch and you're really good at the game. So more content coming, boys. Stay tuned. Bye bye.